Hello all. So today we are going to discuss about classification of embedded systems. So embedded system makes a huge system, okay, of the today's world, and they have been classified into four categories. One is based on generation, second one is complexity and performance requirements, third one is based on deterministic behavior, and fourth one is based on triggering. Right? So this is what the classification of embedded systems has been done based on the four parts. So first one is based on generation. How do we classify the embedded systems based on generation? So they have been classified as first generation, second generation, third generation, and fourth generation. So what is the first generation? First generation is normally built around 8-bit processors, such as the examples for that one is 8085 and Z80. So these were the microprocessors, okay, which were built with only 8-bit processor, okay. So what are the examples? The simple simple circuits with use of assembly codes. These were the simple circuits, and assembly code also was very easy. That means the writing of the program was very easy because the assembly code was very easy. And they were used in telephone keypads, stepper motor controls, etc. So in the second generation, so they were built around 8 to 16 bar microprocessors or microcontrollers. So they were built around 8 bar 16-bit microprocessors or microcontrollers. Then they were much complex. They had much complex and powerful instruction set. Okay, so the second generation had very much complex and powerful instruction sets. Okay, so where they are getting used? They are getting used in SCADA, that is system, data acquisition systems. These are the data acquisition systems. Normally the SCADA is used in railway systems. Okay, so they are built, they are used with the 8 or 16-bit microprocessors or microcontrollers. Then we have third generation. So in the third generation, there is 32-bit processors. They use of 32-bit processors and 16-bit microcontrollers started in third generation of embedded systems. So based on this, okay, so the DSP processors evolution took place, and then ASIC designs also took place, right? So what is ASIC? ASIC is nothing but what? Application specific integrated circuits. Application specific integrated circuits. So based on this concept, the ASIC was developed. Then in this, the use of more powerful and complex instruction sets started. Okay, so compared to the first generation wherein we had only 8-bit processors, okay, so there the instruction sets were very, very easy. But when the processor started getting into 32-bit or 16-bit, so the use of the more powerful and complex sets started getting started. Okay, here what happened was when the instruction set becomes complex, more operations started taking place. More and more operations started taking place, okay, using the third generations, right? So who all started preparing this? So the vendors were the Intel, Pentium, Motorola, and Xylon. So these were the one which started preparing the third generation embedded systems. Okay. So what was their main characteristics? For the third generation, the high performance requirements were the need of the day. That means the processors that were started getting prepared in the third generation, okay, there the high performance was the key parameter. Right, so that means whatever the operations they used to do it, okay, they used to do it in a very early, okay, in a limited frame of time. So where all the third generation is getting used? They are getting used in robotics, in media, in industrial process controller, and then in networking. So these are all the applications where the third generation is getting used. Okay, then we have fourth generation. In the fourth generation, the advent of system on chip took place. In short, it is called as SoC. Okay, system on chip took place, right? Then we have reconfigurable processors, multi-core processors, tight integration, and miniaturization, right? So nowadays, if you can see, almost all the mobile phones are having quadra-core, octa-core, and all, right? So these are the multi-core systems which are used to perform different operations. So if the system is having multi-core, the performance of that system will be very, very high, because multi-core means we can do much amount of the things in parallel. in parallel. So that's why with the advent of in the fourth generation, the things started to become very faster. And what are the examples? The examples are smartphone devices and mobile internet devices. In short, mobile internet devices are called as MITs. So these are the examples for fourth generation systems. Okay, so this is the first classification. What is the second classification? Okay. The second classification is based on complexity and performance requirements. Okay, complexity and performance requirements. So this is the second classification. Okay. A small scale embedded system. First one, they have been classified as small scale embedded systems, medium scale embedded systems, and large scale embedded systems. So these have been classified as small scale, medium scale, and large scale embedded systems, right? In small scale embedded system, okay, the very good example is they use 8 or 16-bit microprocessors or microcontrollers. Okay, so small scale embedded systems are built around only 8 or 16-bit microprocessors, right? So for the other point is these small scale embedded systems may or may not require an OS for functioning. Once if it is programmed, it is sufficient, they start working on its own. Okay, so that's why they may or may not require an OS for functioning. So what is a good example for small scale embedded systems? So it is nothing but an electronic toy. Nowadays you can find out the electronic toy are very, very powerful, right? We are having remote controlled car and okay. So these are all very, very powerful. So the electronic toy, okay, is built around 8 or 16-bit microprocessors, and that is considered as a small scale embedded systems. That is considered as a small scale embedded systems. Then we are having medium scale embedded systems. In medium scale embedded systems, they are slightly complex in hardware and software requirements compared to that of small scale embedded systems, right? So the hardware and software requirements are slightly complex compared, okay, in medium scale embedded system. So the systems are built around 16 or 32-bit microprocessors or microcontrollers. Okay, in the small scale we had only 8 or 16-bit microcontrollers, right? But in the medium scale we have 16 or 32-bit microprocessors or microcontrollers are used to build, okay, these systems. Then usually these contain, okay, embedded OS or RTOS. Embedded OS or RTOS. Okay, RTOS is nothing but what? Real-time operating systems. Usually these contain embedded OS or RTOS. The point is that in medium scale embedded system, when I want to program it, the developer should know the basic programs like C, C++, Java and all, okay, because medium scale embedded systems require C, C++, Java. Okay, and even the concept of RTOS, that is real time operating system, is also required to develop a medium scale embedded system. Then we are having large scale embedded systems, okay, or these are also called as complex systems. So normally these are used for mission critical systems demanding high performance. That means the systems which are very critical in operation, they go for large scale embedded systems. For example, ISRO and DRDO are the one which carry out lots of missions, right? So if there is some delay, whatever it is, okay, the overall mission gets collapsed. So hence it is required that whatever the embedded systems they use it, okay, they should be used with a very high clarity. Okay, and with a very high performance. That means there should not be any delay in the execution. Okay, and there should not be any delay in the execution. So that's why we normally these institutions prefer very high or large scale embedded systems which require high performance. So normally they use 32 or 64-bit RISC microprocessors or microcontrollers. Okay, so RISC microprocessors are microcontrollers. So it means what? The large scale embedded systems, okay, in large scale embedded systems they go with the ARM processors because it is 32-bit microcontrollers and all. So mostly they go with the ARM processors because ARM processor is a very highly efficient, okay, and it is having lots of ports. So that's why these more institutions normally they prefer to go with the ARM processors. Okay. Then these are reconfigurable SoC, okay, and then there are again, as it is told, that these systems will be having multi-core processors. Okay, so that means there are 2 or 3. Normally, it is 2, that is dual core, 4 that is quadra core, then 8 there is octa core. So these many processors will be there. So these processors will help to execute a program, okay, in a parallel, so that the performance will be very high, the time taken will be very less. Okay, within a short range of time, much amount of work will be performed. Then what are the examples? Normally these systems will be used in encoding or decoding media, okay, and also in cryptographic functions implementations, right? See, cryptographic function implementations are required for encoding and decoding, okay, for encoding and decoding, right? Because even if you see that in WhatsApp and all, there are end-to-end encryption will be there. That means what? Some concept will be used wherein whatever the data that is getting passed will be encoded. Okay, so normally it is 128 bit and all. So to do it, we need to have a higher performance systems, okay, which can do the encoding and decoding very fastly. Okay, so that means what? We require high performance systems. And in this, use of co-processors started, hardware accelerators and started getting used, and these systems might contain RTOS. Normally the large scale embedded systems require RTOS because these are the real-time operating systems. So normally these require an RTOS. Okay, so this is the classification of embedded systems. Okay, this is the second classification of embedded systems.